Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July the 9th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully Tuesday treated you pretty well. Let's see here. What went on? Not much, just work. We did catch a little bit of rain, but luckily I didn't get rained on. I love that. Let's see. Last night, what did we eat? Food corner. I had Mexican. I made Mexican, I should say. A little beef and rice bowl. It was very yummy. Of course, had the tortillas. We got the deep fryer going again, so we got a couple of fried tortillas and then pan fried one. So yeah, it was really good. It was yummy. Oh, of course, with the chips. You gotta have the tortilla chips. But yeah, all in all, things are well so far. I feel like I'm in a good mood and a good state of mind. So we love to see that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do our startup and we just go ahead and get into some news. Kind of a bit of an addition from last episode, talking about Ukraine. There was a point that I missed that was key that I was like, all right, let's go ahead and touch on it. Plus it kind of lines up too with literally like the news of the day. But it's believed that the Russian missile strike that I covered yesterday, that Russia took against Ukraine, that was related to them going to a NATO summit and being included in said NATO summit. Obviously, they're going to be a big focal point about that. And so the Kremlin, Putin wanted to send a message via literally attacking actual civilian infrastructure. It was definitely like hearing details about like the cancer hospital that got hit and like literally like doctors performing like open heart surgeries when like literally their building is being opened up by missiles. You know, that's sad shit. But yeah, I don't really have too much to report in terms of NATO, though that I know like NPR has an article or whatever. As NATO summit kicks off in DC, Nordic Baltic states point to Ukraine. So there you go. There's that. Also, I've been hearing, pray tell, that there's a lot of flack getting put on Canada for not really pulling their weight. But I really didn't want to get into the details or weeds about that. Let's go ahead and move on to the main course of the news that I wanted to kind of get through today. So from the BBC, Storm Beryl kills 8 and cuts power for millions. You'll notice that it's not Hurricane Beryl anymore, so there's a little bit of good news there. But sadly, obviously, you'll note that we are well beyond the 2. I mean, we're at 8. That's unfortunate. At least 8 people have died after Hurricane Beryl slammed into southeast Texas and Louisiana, knocking out power for nearly 3 million people. Excuse me, there's that burp. Beryl hit the southern United States on Monday morning as a Category 1 hurricane. Also noting that it had started when we initially covered this as a Category 5 hurricane. So definitely downgraded along the way, as it moved through Jamaica and whatnot, but definitely did a lot of damage. Officials are a Category 1 hurricane, but it has since been downgraded to a tropical depression. Yeah, you and me both. Officials warned of the destructive winds up to 15 inches or 38 centimeters of rain and life-threatening storm surges. Yeah, I've heard at least some stories of like people dying from like, trees like falling on them, things like that. Obviously very unfortunate, very sad. More than 1,100 flights were canceled at Houston's main airport on Monday, according to FlightAware.com. Some 2.3 million customers in Texas were without power as of Tuesday morning, said PowerOutages.us, with some cuts also reported in Louisiana and Arkansas. There's also talks of, the storm also caused major destruction and at least 10 deaths in the Caribbean. So that number also went up. So, damn. Let's see here. I think there was another thing I wanted to hit on. I knocked it out of my brain. Oh, yeah. There, on Tuesday, the risk of twisters shift to Missouri Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, said forecasters. Luckily, as an Ohioan, I can tell you, at least from, around Cincinnati, all we got was a little bit of rain, cloud cover, but it seems like more or less it's passed. But, I mean, we might get more weather throughout the week. I don't know. I am not a weatherman. So, yeah, just wanted to give a little bit of a Beryl update. Obviously, sad that it claimed more lives, did more damage, but I am glad that, it is at least, reduced. Also, there was a meme going around, and it's been a thought that I've had every time there's a hurricane. It's from, like, Pineapple Express, when Saul is like, I thought hurricane season was over. And I always think about that whenever a hurricane comes up, but, like, I'm reminded that this is like the top of hurricane season. Like, it's actually like a record hurricane because it was like so big so early. But I'm like, yeah, I thought hurricane season was over. And I laugh and I laugh. And I'm glad that that's like a thing in other people's heads, because we're all, a lot of people are stoners. You know what I mean? A lot of people love Pineapple Express. Anyway, let's go ahead and move along. From the Hill. U.S. Marshal involved in shooting near Sotomayor's D.C. home. All right. A U.S. Marshal, while on duty outside Justice Sotomayor's residence, shot an attempted carjacker last week, court and police records show. The documents indicate an 18-year-old suspect pulled up next to deputy marshals parked in an unmarked car on Sotomayor's block in Washington, D.C., shortly after 1 a.m. on July 5th. After the suspect allegedly attempted a carjacking by approaching the driver's side door and pointing a firearm at the window, one of the marshals fired approximately 4 shots, striking the suspect in the mouth, the documents show. They were transported to the hospital for treatment and placed under arrest. So, yeah, that's crazy that this dude tried it and got his fucking face blown off. They do confirm who he is later on in the article. Also, they didn't initially say who it was, like, in terms of, like, hinting that it was Sotomayor, but the Daily Mail kind of, like, got to the story and, spilled all the tea. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like this was politically motivated, which is what I initially thought it was. I hate to be like, oh, crime on the rise, but, like, I know there's been, like, I think they said 75 or so reported carjackings in the D.C. area. Yeah, the Metropolitan Police Department has made more than 75 carjacking arrests this year so far. Police data shows the incident outside Sotomayor's residence comes months after Representative Henry Cuellar, I think I got his name right this time, hell yeah, Democrat from Texas, boo, fake-ass Democrat, you're whack, even though Democrats are kind of fake by nature, what should I say? He was carjacked while parking outside his apartment in D.C. Oh, that's so sad, be careful, so much crime. I know. I try to make light of the crime just because I think that these are one of those things where it has become very anecdotal and people lean on these things like numbers don't fucking lie, but like they do lie. Like when you narrate them and you pivot them and you stilt them to make your points, yeah, they do fucking lie, bro. So when you just keep telling me, oh man, yeah, I don't want to go to these liberal crime fiefdoms, it's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, yeah, crime is up because guess what? Everyone's fucking broke. People are going to resort to dumb shit when they have no money. But that's a whole other fucking issue. I just wanted to cover this because it was like, it was juicy news. And, it was new to me. I literally just heard about this. I didn't know. Sometimes it dawns on me that when I'm covering a thing, like, it might be new news, but, like, it's something that had, like, just been reported or leaked or whatever from, like, a week ago or months ago or things like that. And that sometimes can throw me off. I don't know. I'm kind of just in the weeds, just kind of waxing poetic here. Let's go ahead and segue. We got another update. Actually, this one's on Alec Baldwin from the Associated Press. Jury selection starts slowly at Alec Baldwin's involuntary manslaughter trial. Jury selection got off to a slow start Tuesday in a New Mexico courtroom at the involuntary manslaughter trial of Alec Baldwin in the shooting of a cinematographer. The judge and attorneys had expected to have a jury seated within a day, but questioning of prospective jurors didn't begin until more than 2 hours later than expected because of technical problems. There's a lot of yada. You can obviously read to catch up, but I just wanted to say, hey, the trial is definitely kicking off. We've talked about this before in pretty much, good detail. Down to Hannah Gutierrez-Reed and her conviction. She's serving, 18 months now. So yeah, now it is time for Alec Baldwin to go up on trial. He initially was looking like he wasn't going to go on trial. Then they said, oh no, now that we have this ballistic test from the FBI saying there's no way in hell that you just cocked back the gun and then it magically fired, bro. They're like, we feel more confident, actually. It's a new prosecution. We're going to go for it. Which I get, it makes sense. Because when you hear Alec Baldwin describe what happens, he's like, hey, I was doing everything that Helena told me to do. Like, she wanted to see me do the shots, so that's why I'm pointing it at her. And I'm thinking this is like, there's not a real bullet in here. There's not supposed to be a real bullet in here. And in that regard, I agree. I think that that's definitely more on your armorer, and that's why that armorer was, convicted. But they're saying, at least from the prosecution, it's like, dude, like, you shouldn't have pointed this at another person, like, just period. Like, you should have the foresight to not do that, and that's like a no-no. So, maybe they might have him here on that. But a thing I wanted to touch on, because I do feel like this was kind of a big thing from the judge, once again from the Associated Press. Judge decides Alec Baldwin's role as co-producer not relevant to trial over fatal 2021 set shooting. So to me, this is where Alec Baldwin was the most culpable, because at the end of the day, he's a person who hired, or at least is involved one way or another, financially, or actually like, hey, pick this person. Like, you're involved with all the people who are on the set, one way or another. And if you're seeing the lacks in security, safety is where I'm looking for here, on set from your armorer, you should be one to call that shit out. But instead, it's kind of insinuated that, like, Alec Baldwin was, like, cutting a lot of corners, being very budget-focused, and things of that nature. That's not good when we're talking about, once again, people's fucking safety on set. And when motherfuckers are firing live rounds, and that's just like, whatever. Like, you've had multiple instances where, like, there's been near misses on this set, and you're just like, whatever. There is a level of culpability in my mind. So the judge saying that's not relevant, you cannot use that in court, is going to play a big factor in the trial, I think. That's just my theory here. I know some of y'all think that my trial thoughts are maybe bullshit, but hey, I can't please everybody here. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try to, stay posted on this and, give updates when I feel it's relevant, or, y'all know how I like to do. It's either that or I wait until the end and then we just do a big kind of quick recap, the easier route. But we'll see. I'm definitely very interested. Like I said, I do think as a producer, he's definitely culpable. But I think in the narrative of, okay, as an actor, are you guilty because you're the one with the gun in your hand and you aimed it at a person and what happened? I think he's a little bit less guilty. But once again, this is from my perspective, how I feel about it. It's the lying. And like, I got to throw allegedly on here, but like, there's no doubt in my mind, and not that I trust the fucking feds, but like, they did ballistic tests. Why would they fucking conspiratorial? Like, no one's out to get Alec Baldwin on this shit. They're like, no, dude, like, we ran the ballistic tests on this gun. There's just no way that it magically fired because you pulled the hammer back and it just, boom, went off. That's just not how a gun works, brother. And you didn't roll a 1. That's just not what happened here. Like, at some point, your ass poop and shot someone, technically shot 2 people. So, you know what I mean? But hey, we'll see what happens in court. Who am I to say? All right. We have one more thing I wanted to cover. I think once again, another update, a lot of updates this week, but I like that. I like that we are covering stories, getting back on plot lines, even though this is real news, real life shit. But, you almost miss these stories, or like they kind of, I forget about them, and then like they pop up on my newsfeed again. I'm like, oh shit, there's more to hear, more to say, more to talk on. Though this is sadly a twist I didn't expect in the story. But, we'll toss some pigskin about it. Let me go ahead and take my last break. Feel free to take one with me. All right. From Bro Bible. Journalists who reported Brett Favre's alleged involvement in welfare scandal now facing prison time. What a crazy twist of fucking fate here. Journalist Anna Wolf won a Pulitzer Prize for her reporting on the ongoing state of Mississippi welfare, on the ongoing Mississippi, excuse me, on the ongoing state of Mississippi welfare fraud scandal allegedly involving Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre. Today, she is facing the possibility of having to go to prison after being sued for defamation by the Mississippi's former governor, Phil Bryant, who I believe is also implicated in it. But let's see. According to NBC News, Wolf and her editor, Adam Gashanow, have been ordered by a judge to turn over files containing the names of their confidential sources. They are refusing to do so, saying if they did, it would be a huge blow to journalism, which is something I agree with. Excuse me. If one of us goes to jail, we will be the first person to go to jail in the Mississippi welfare scandal, Wolf told NBC News. How can I make promises to sources that I'm going to keep them confidential if this is possible? And I totally agree with that statement. Like, you're literally fucking with journalism itself when you're doing this kind of shit, in my mind. Where it's like, hey, you should be allowed to have anonymous sources so that they can tell you some shit and then you can tell people what's fucking going on. That shit is very important. And that shit should be sacred. That shit should be protected. The idea that, like, a judge is like, no, I'm okay with cracking this shit open. I personally kind of feel like that this is some, like, state on the take shit. It plays to everything that's kind of gone on in this fucking scandal, where literally you just have a guy like Brett Favre and his fucking tight daddy Wranglers coming up and being like, hey man, I really, really, really want to have my daughter have a really nice, like, volleyball arena. So, like, let's spend $5 million to make that happen. And how are we going to do that? With state fucking money. And hey, I'll even get a little kickback for doing little speeches that I'm not going to fucking show up for or do. And hey, cool. No problems. No fouls. And he also got another kickback, I think, for some kind of medical drug or something, football related. I don't fucking know or care. Needless to say, he didn't go through with any of this shit in terms of, like, doing any speeches, any of this goodwill shit. He just got the money and was like, hey, I'm good to go. But this shit came to light, and he at least had to pay the money back with interest. So there's that. But it is crazy that we are now at a point where none of these motherfuckers have gone to jail. In fact, it's a role reversal of, like, no, in fact, we're going to try to actually get these journalists thrown in jail for covering the story and not giving up their sources, essentially being bad journalists. So that's where we're at with this, which is just a crazy twist of fate here. You know, if anything, I thought we would be covering more of the downfall of Brett Favre, but he's not charged for anything. He just gets to, once again, walk away clean. He doesn't even have to show his goddamn taxes, dude. Like, fuck, dude. It's insane. It's so fucking frustrating. But hey, so it goes. I really hope that Wolf or I don't get his name wrong, but Ganshow, I hope neither of these people have to deal with any repercussions legally in terms of, like, going to jail or paying up anything. Like, fuck that, dude. Like, if anything, the people who perpetrated a whole ass fucking crime against the state of Mississippi should be behind bars. Like, you know what I mean? And then fuck, let me throw him to Tomato Town. Let me do that. Oh fuck, man, it's so fucked, dude. Just I guess for reference, if you wanted to catch up, I kind of just did this kind of slapdash. From ESPN, Brett Favre and the Mississippi welfare case explained. I know we've talked about it before. It's kind of why I'm just feeling like, you know, fast forward. But yeah, man, that's the state of affairs. That's where we're at with it. And that's where we'll leave it for today. Let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. Patreon.com/Isaiah News does give you access to some old archive episodes that I've, you know, worked on, cooked up, what have you. Also, you're just financially helping out the guy, you know? I'm going through some woes sometimes. It helps the struggle, puts a smile on my face. Potentially, if you get enough subscribers, newsies, if you will, you know, maybe I can get some better equipment. Maybe I can get off this fucking Blue Yeti I've been fucking with. I don't know. But no, I really just appreciate you guys just tuning in and just hanging out, listening to me whine and moan about life and news. I should continue though with the shill shit. Free ways to feedback, send comments to me, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Hopefully subscribe to the YouTube. That really helps out. Trying to get those numbers up. I appreciate any and all new subscribers too. I know I talked about the comments the other day, but the subscriptions, those are free, and I appreciate people just literally smashing that button. It goes without saying. Like, I'll be fucking for real with you. I'm at 76. I gotta get to 500. If I get to 500, there's a potential chance that YouTube starts giving me money. So that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm trying to push for. Yeah, you know what? I live in a capitalist society, so I do it for free, but I would like to live in a world where I evolve into someone getting more crumbs of money. Okay? Look, I'm just keeping it 100 with you, all right? Let's see, but there's also other free ways to, hit me up if you don't want to, support me that way. I also see more Twitter or X. Everything's on X. I see more followers there. I don't know if you're real or not. Feel free to sound off if you are there. But if you're a bot, I mean, hey, cool. Bleep, blorp, bleep. Happy to make your acquaintance. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, I'm done chilling. I'm tired. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.